A lot of TV, a lot of sleeping, a lot of ruminating as well, you know. But it was a fine weekend nonetheless, and I hope yours was good also. And I very much hope as well. The start to the working week it offers lots of positives as far as the potentials of the week are concerned. You're welcome again. It is Hard Factor Nigeria Info, and as has been happening for some time right now, the last couple of weeks, we are having an abridged version of the show today, wrapping up about 3:45 p.m. definitely before 4 o'clock. To give way for the sports gang, as they will be in the studio at about that time to bring you all the action, a preview and live commentaries from the round of 16 games from World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Sadly, yesterday, one of Africa's hopefuls, Senegal, was sent packing from the tournament, losing against England 3-0. And I don't know. I mean, prior to the first goal coming in, the scoreline was not truly reflective of the game, in my estimation. But once the English found their scoring boots, it was it became an all England affair, more or less. So congratulations to the British. They are coming, I suppose. Anyways, it was Henderson, Harry Kane, and of course the Saka-licious one, Bukayo Saka, in the 57th minute, who made it 3 for England as against Senegal 0. So they are out. However, the tournament continues with more quarterfinal games coming your way, even from today. We've got, what do we have there? Japan, Croatia at 4 p.m., Brazil, South Korea at 8 o'clock. And tomorrow, one of Africa's hopefuls, still very much in the tournament and alive and kicking, Morocco take on Spain 4 p.m., Portugal, Switzerland at 8 o'clock. Remember, catch all the action with the sports gang. However, between now and about 3:45, when I get to leave the studio, I've got some side comments and a quick rant. Let's get to that, touching a couple of issues. I'd like to get your thoughts on those, till I get to leave here. And starting with this one, it's an all too familiar story. 2 trucks carrying petroleum products were set ablaze at Idili and Limini Mahua axis of the east-west road today. Our correspondent, who was at the scene, reports that soldiers burned the trucks for carrying illegally refined crude oil. Now, I don't know what exactly the problem is here. And not with those who have committed the crime of crude oil theft. To some degree, we understand what the problem is with that. However, people, illegally, a lot must have gone on in this process that led to the illegally refined and processed products, crude oil, illegally refined crude oil, whether it was diesel or petrol, whatever, being transported in the trucks. So, let's skip all of that and get to the point where the soldiers intercepted it. So, once again, I don't know what's wrong here. I don't know if the soldiers don't know how to read and write, or they don't understand English, and they don't get all the noise that's been made, or the campaigns that's gone out there and talk about how we're polluting the environment and the suits in River State and some other parts of the Niger Delta region, and how we need to stop, destroying this product when they are apprehended. I don't know, or is it that the superiors, who sometimes claim to not know, and they are not their men, the superiors also don't understand English, can't read and write as well, and don't understand the implications of these actions? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. It's almost like we have 2 sets of people in Nigeria. The intelligent bunch, the problem solvers, those who are trying to figure out how do we take us from where we are to where we need to be. And maybe I should make today's... Oh, no. This is under my psyche. This is not today's rant. This is not today's rant. But it's not unconnected somewhat. And I'll tell you why in a moment. So, back to what I was saying. I don't know. So, it seems we have this set of Nigerians who are just trying to fix things, who hold on these seminars, hold on these talks, hold on these discussions, and try to figure out problems, what the problems are, and figure out solutions to these problems. That's one set of Nigerians. And then we have another set of Nigerians. And these ones, by the way, happen to be the ones in authority, in position. Either they're elected officials, or they're occupying positions, or maybe places of authority, or they're just given some some authority of state, for example, these soldiers, to act in the interest of the state. And their own stock in trade, this second class of Nigerians, is just to destroy everything. They never bring up solutions. They have no ideas. As a matter of fact, I take that back. They are bereft of ideas. They can't even come up with one idea to save their own lives. If they were about to die now and somebody said, can you come up with one idea, and give them 48 hours to do so, they can't come up with an idea. They really can't. They can't. So they have made it their own life ambition to simply destroy and pull everything down. And they contribute absolutely nothing. It's amazing, really. It's truly amazing. Truly amazing. Truly amazing. And yes, besides not having ideas, they never know anything also. Even the one thing that they are being paid to know, they have no idea. Because I'm sure if you reach out to the authorities or their superiors and ask them, why did your soldiers burn down this? The GOC commander is not aware. Is not aware. He doesn't know. But you see, we will investigate. We will look into it, and we will get back to you, and that's it. It's amazing, really. It's amazing. I'd say, do I leave it like that? I have very limited time, so maybe I just delve right into today's rant. And like I said, it's kind of connected. So here's today's rant, and it's all far news this morning. Of course, I imagine the dailies are running similar stories. Governors have tackled the federal government for blaming the country's poverty on them. Interesting times, isn't it? Well, here's the story. It's here somewhere. The Nigeria Governors Forum is accusing the federal government of abandoning its duty of addressing the security challenges which they said is crippling economic activities in the country. The forum spokesperson Abdulrazak Bello Barakindo said this in a statement while reacting to the claim by the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, that the governors are responsible for the rising poverty index in the country. The forum argued that the governors made progress in their states through relevant projects. It said the rising level of poverty among Nigerians is a consequence of the effect of insecurity on commercial and agricultural activities. Now, they also alleged that the federal government inaction has allowed bandits, insurgents and kidnappers to turn the country into a killing field. Now, this is not surprising. This is a well-rehearsed script. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. Remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago or so, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, accused governors of not doing enough, if anything at all, to improve the fortunes of their people, the people resident in their states. And it was only a matter of time before the governors reacted to that. And right now, it's like, how do I put this? It's like two fighting. It's like two people in the market who are just throwing stuff at each other. It looks very messy. It's actually embarrassing, really. But then again, like I said, it's a well-rehearsed script. So the presidency is blaming the governors. The governors are blaming the presidency. It's only a matter of a few months from now. By the time the president hands over to somebody else, assuming it's a different party, I don't know, Nigerians will decide that, and governors hand over to their successors, assuming it's a different party. And even some cases, even when they belong to the same party, the excuses will change. The excuses will now become, it was the previous administration. It was the previous administration that's responsible for this, because we met an empty treasury. It was empty. We met the debt burden that we met is unbelievable. The debt burden. We met an empty treasury. There was nothing. At different times, depending on what excuse is deemed to be most suitable at any particular time, we just whip it up. But nobody ever takes responsibility. Nobody. But guess what? I have what I suppose is the best person to blame as well. The presidency said, let's blame the governors. The governors are blaming the presidency, naturally. Very soon, I'm sure they will go back to blaming the Ukraine-Russia war again very soon. Just a matter of weeks or days, We'll blame the Russia-Ukraine war again for something else. But I know who we're blaming right now. I know whom we should blame right now. And who, you might wonder, my good man or madam, who should we blame, or who is Dyer blaming? Well, guess what? Who else? I mean, the person most responsible for all of this, for the insecurity, for the lack of social infrastructure, lack of human capacity development, lack of adequate, affordable healthcare, lack of quality education, or even access for that matter, lack of everything. Because I'm not sure there's anything in Nigeria that actually works. I'm not sure I can point to the one thing. Help me, please, if you can. The person that's responsible for all of this, well, I mean, there's more than enough blame or responsibility to go around, blame especially. But number one on the list, and by the way, this list includes Ukraine and Russia. Don't forget that. The list of those to blame includes past administration, Ukraine-Russia war, aliens, very important, village people also. They share a humongous blame in all of this. Political enemies. Don't ever underestimate those people. Political enemies. They're very, very wicked, by the way. But of all these persons and these people who should share the blame, the number one on my list is you. Oh yes. You are the one to blame for this. You're the one to blame. Because you are the one who is not taking your destiny in your own hands, because you are the one who will say, I shall go and vote now, and they decide what they want to do already. I shall go and vote now. You are the one who is saying, who is sharing money this election day now. Where are they sharing money? Where are they sharing money? Let's collect our own now. Let's collect it now. You are the one who is going for campaign rallies where people are saying absolutely nothing. It's all gibberish nonsense, and they're shouting expletives at real or perceived enemies, and you're dancing away your future at monster hits back to back. You are the problem. You are the one changing t-shirts and face caps, depends on who's willing to pay you a token to attend some rally, and you are the one who's collecting rice and oil and seasoning cubes to vote for Honorable Excellency. You are the problem. You are the number one problem. And until you get your act right, until you decide that enough is enough, until you say, I can't take this anymore, the situation is not going to change. Got a break coming up. Stay with us.
Hear that? That's the sound of my children building their future through tech.
Welcome back. It is Artifact to Nigeria Info, Hearing Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. 27 minutes gone past 3 p.m. and I did deliver a round just a while ago. I hope you caught it. And basically, unsurprisingly, you know the way that the Navy and the police, or the police and the Nigerian army sometimes beat each other up and sometimes go as far as killing each other, you know? Anytime it happened, we condemn it, but you know it's only a matter of time before it happens again. And by the way, one such incident did happen again recently. Very sad situation. Story from Daily Trust. How ASP stabbed to death as naval police officers clash in Lagos. I would have hoped to touch on that, but I don't have the time for that today. But kind of like how you know that this is going to happen and it's inevitable. Exactly the same way it is. This clashes, if you will, between the federal government and state governors in Nigeria. When they start playing the blame game, who's responsible? So the presidency has said governors are to blame. The governors have said no, the presidency is to blame. And guess what? Yeah, they're all to blame because in many cases they actually don't know what they're doing. However, of all the persons and sins on the list of things to blame, which by the way includes past administration, unknown administration, even the administration that's not yet born is also to blame for all that's going on. And political enemies, don't underestimate them once again. But of all and Ukraine, don't forget Ukraine, Russia as well. But of all of these things or persons, you are number one on that list. Because until you say, I've had enough of this, I've had enough of this shenanigans, I've had enough of this cluelessness in government, I've had enough of this dancing. And I'm not saying that people in government cannot dance, but governance is a serious job. It's serious business. Enough of this, enough of ceremonies. How about we get round to brash tactics and dealing with the issues and letting people who've got half a brain, into positions of authority who actually know what they're doing, not people who pretend to know what they're doing and who make up for their inadequacies with all kinds of showmanship. Showmanship has taken over the actual act of governance in Nigeria now. Governance in Nigeria now has been relegated to how loud you can shout, how hard the person is, how hard. Shouting where? Give them. That's what governance is now. That's the definition of governance in Nigeria now. Man is hard. That woman is strong. She's a strong woman. Strong. That man has money. That honorable. He has money. That's what it means now, to be a good leader in Nigeria, I suppose. But once again, conclusively, until you say, you know what, I've had enough of this. I've got some brain matter. I can process information. I can tell when someone's got absolutely nothing to offer. And I can tell when I think somebody, maybe it's got something. Can't tell for certain, but yeah, maybe, maybe. Just maybe. And I realized that the actions or inactions of these people affects me. Not just sitting down and saying, oh yes, this price of dollar is this and price of this is that and this is this. And then you're Mr. Analysis. You can analyze everything very well. Analyze. So okay, get your PVC, go on vote. Say what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. The day that you realize, or you come to a realization and you decide to do something about it, all of this will change. Because they will not have an audience to sing to. There will be no audience to dance again. When there's no audience to dance, who are you playing the music for? When there's nobody to answer your questions, who will you ask? They're mad, they're not mad. If there are crickets chirping, who will be there to answer? They're crazy, they're not crazy. You foolish, they're not, you like us, you don't like us. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening. Let's get your ticket mine, if you will. Lines open. Call 0700 923 093. That's 0700 923 093. I suppose we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Also, possibly live on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Once again, call 0700 923 093. I've got a few comments via Facebook. Let's see. Olojude Muyiwa goes, let the senators push and enact true federalism where the autonomy of the constituent units are assured and ensured, like that of the USA. It seems we're practicing the unitary system rather than federal system. Then the state local government can perform well and develop their regions. You know, it's remarkable when you hear Nigerians say true federalism. What does true federalism mean, really? Federalism is an idea. Its practice is whatever it is you make of it. There isn't one only way to practice federalism. There isn't. Just the same way there isn't only one way to practice democracy. It's an idea that governs. It's like how do I put this? It's like an algorithm. You can use the algorithm to produce an application. You can use the same algorithm to produce 10 different applications. The applications might be different. The applications might even serve 10 different purposes in 10 different industries, but they use the same algorithm. It's kind of like the Android, the Android program used for many mobile devices these days, or the Apple iOS. Even though I think that is exclusive to Apple, but Android, you have many other phone makers using the Android program. You've got Samsung, Infinix, Oppo, Tecno, you name it, they're all using it. Anna Ayenda on Facebook goes, good afternoon, Dai. Blames upon blames when both the FG and state governors are solely responsible for the absolute poverty rise in the state and country at large. Our esteemed honorables and excellencies will always tell us what we want to hear. Vote wisely. Oh, I'm sure that as the elections draw nearer, like I said, the blame game or the blame basket, if you will, or container will widen and broaden. At some point, we will blame Christians. At one point, we'll blame Muslims. At one point, we'll blame the North. We'll blame the South. We'll blame. We can't do. How can we not blame the international community as well? At some point, I'm sure somebody will blame them, and the same person who is blaming them at some later point will be the same person who is calling on the international community, to come and see what's happening, to come and see what is happening and save him. Uh, 0700 923 093 once again is the number to call. The governor's tackling the federal government, saying the federal government is responsible for the increasingly high poverty levels in the country, while not too long ago the federal government, through a member of the Federal Executive Council, laid blame at the doorstep of the governors. Well, it's only a matter of time before ISIS and Hezbollah are blamed as well. Hi, Hard Factor, welcome. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, Daya.
Hi, go ahead.
When you said they should put the blame on us, and we are not able to get our PVC, for instance, I did my registration since February, and up till now, I've not been able to get my PVC. I'll go to my polling unit, they'll say come tomorrow, come next tomorrow, and now they are saying we should go for it by January, in a few months to election. So how do you blame me?
Actions have consequences. Some of the choices you've made in the past might be, I'm not saying it is, but it might be a reason for you not having a PVC now.
I think we should blame INEC.
No, well, yeah, you can add INEC to the list as well. Of course, we can add INEC to that list also. I mean, there are a gazillion things and a gazillion people and a gazillion organizations, and that we can add to the list. But in my estimation, you're still number one. Romeo from Audley Road. Hi, go ahead. But he's gone. Hello, hard fight to welcome. Please go on.
Yeah, I know this is not the topic of discussion now.
So don't delve into it then. Please do not. If you know it's not a topic of discussion.
Okay. So let me tell you who to blame.
Go ahead.
Okay. We can blame ourselves because we didn't do what we ought to do at every point in time. We feel that politics is so dirty, it's not for the gentleman, it's not really. But now we see that those whom we think are not the gentlemen are those decided for us. So we blame ourselves. And right now, too, a lot of persons are saying that forget it. Whoever they want to be the leader will be the leader. Tomorrow, they will still be the one to shout, fuel is rising, fuel is rising. So it is we, the citizens, that I want to blame. No, not the politicians, we. Because if the citizens rise up and insist that this is where they want to go, it will definitely go that way. All over the world, the areas we have revolution, it's not the politicians that revolt, it's the people who revolt. Wherever we have change in the system, it's not the political class that changes the system, it's the people that say, no, we don't want it this way. So whatever they have done to make the people feel that they are not relevant, or whatever has made the people think that they don't have the stake in governance, is where the blame is, and it's we, the people. So that is
Good to hear from you as well. I do agree with him. I mean, of course I would. He seems to be toying, or he seems to share my reason on the matter. I blame him. I blame him. I blame you as well. Yeah, I blame you. I blame you. Because some of the things that are happening in the country are just downright atrocious, and how that you have even tried to rationalize some of these things, to try to make some sense of something that is completely illogical, something that makes absolutely no sense at all, something that defies logic, something that is against the very tenets, against the very foundation of democracy or government or governance or leadership, and you try to make some sense or some meaning of it. Until you come to that point when you say, no, you know what, it's not working. It is not working. And I have to do everything that I possibly can within the ambit of the law, of course, to ensure that we can effect a positive change. Until then, the situation will not change, because those who are trading blames right now are going to keep on trading blames. Like someone said a while ago, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Anybody you want to hear is responsible for it, you'll be told. If you want to hear that it's that old woman in your village, don't worry, somebody will tell you that someday. You'll be told that. Henry goes, Dyer, we must also blame the British colonialists. Oh yes, as a matter of fact, add them to the blame as well. Now, if I forgot to blame the Pope, why not? Throw the Pope into it also. We should also add journalists to the list. That's for Mike. Mike, throw Nigeria into the list, but Harcourt especially if you want. Hi, Dyer, if I forgot to blame COVID-19, why not? Remember, there's monkeypox out there as well. Yeah. Dyer, how can you not blame the floods and COVID-19? That's some Amos. Add the floods to it then. Just put global warming. I think that handles everything weather-like these days. Dial, good Dial. Mercy goes down. If the federal government and state governors continue in this their two fighting and blame game, who will we blame? And these people want to continue to use our heads and distract us from holding them responsible for the hardship going on in this country. Very soon they will start blaming us for not starting business and not farming it well. Oh, as a matter of fact. And it's happened before. Listen, it's a script it's a well-rehearsed script. It's happened before. I'm not going to be exact or use, particular examples so that this my rant today and the ensuing conversation is not deliberately misrepresented by some folk who are just lurking right now. They're lurking in the shadows, in the corners, just waiting for me to say something. Like I say, yes, we caught him. We have got him. He's been sponsored by Hezbollah. Of course, at some point in the past, you have been blamed by government, by federal government, by state government. You've been blamed. And in the not too distant future, you'll be blamed again. Inevitably so. There's something that you haven't done or that they imagine you haven't done that the leadership, Nigeria's leadership, will bring up again in a bid to pass responsibility to you, because you are responsible for every negative thing happening in the country. I don't know how you can apportion blame to the harmless masses who majority of its active voters are illiterate and have been subjected to so much suffering that they have no choice but to pluck the lowest hanging fruit. The masses are not to blame, in my opinion, since the election is constantly rigged by, he mentions the party anyway, and that's some Joe. No, Joe. No. Yes, there is an increased level of poverty in the land, and poverty just does give rise to certain things, for example, crime. But even in a society that is besieged by poverty, how is it that if you commit a crime and you get to a law court, poverty cannot be an excuse? You can't get to court and say, Your Honor, the reason I broke into that house last night and attempted to steal all the furniture and electronics and mistakenly killed someone there was because I was hungry and there's poverty in the land. No, it's not an excuse. And not just in the courtroom, but even in life generally. Because poverty does not necessarily deprive you of your ability to think and process information. And if you've gotten to that point where you can no longer think and process information, your problem is no longer poverty, you've got a mental situation. You probably need to go for mental evaluation. Maybe you need to be in a psych ward. And we hope you get better soon. Because poverty, even when there is lack, does not stop you from knowing the difference between right and wrong. Doesn't mean you can't know when someone's lying to you. Doesn't mean you don't know when someone doesn't have your interest at heart, even poverty. Doesn't mean that you can't make the right choices. I mean, there was a time in this country when I think the predominant number of persons told their children, even when you are hungry, even when you don't have something, even when you are lacking, don't take what does not belong to you. I mean, I'd like to think that parents still tell their children that these days. I'd like to think that very much. I'd like to think that we're still in an era, or we still have a generation where parents tell their children, even if you are hungry, do not take what does not belong to you, even in a state of poverty. So we can't blame poverty. Can't blame poverty for your propensity to wear t-shirts and face caps. Can't blame poverty for your propensity to collect 2,000 naira and vote the person you know is going to destroy your life. I mean, if you were to collect 2,000 naira and gather somewhere, and maybe eventually you vote the right choice, maybe I can comprehend that. But how can you sell your future for 2,000 naira? Sell your future for 5,000 naira? Sell your future because they claim you are loyal to some person whom you claim to be honorable to excellency. Hoping that someday to be your turn as well, to get into office, and 6 months down the line, you've got cars and mansions everywhere. And you blame that on poverty. No, that's not poverty, that's something else. Michael Girls, good afternoon, Dio. I would blame Obiakpo boys because they are not our boys. Di, good afternoon. Do you forget the previous administration? They too should always be blamed. Oh yeah, I mean they are. How can we have a list of people to blame in Nigeria without including the previous administration? It's not possible. That list is not complete if the previous administration is not on the list. I think after you, your previous administration is probably next on the list. Yeah, because even when a government is in its seventh year in office, seventh year, that means it's gone a full 4-year first term. Second year's more than halfway. It still blames the previous administration. I mean, really, that's incredible. That's incredible indeed. Well, I do have to wrap up things right now. Thanks for being a part of the show today. The Sports Gang are coming in shortly. We've got quarter-final World Cup games coming up today from 4 p.m. kickoff time. We've got, we've got Morocco, that's tomorrow. We've got Japan, Croatia. We've got Brazil, South Korea at 8 p.m. Catch all the action live commentaries with the Sports Gang. And keeping my fingers crossed that one of Africa's hopes in the tournament this year, Morocco, will make us proud tomorrow. It's an uphill task against Spain. Goodness gracious. How they're going to do it, I have no idea. But I know it is possible. The same way it's possible for you to vote sensible people into office. Whether you will or not, your guess is as good as your guess. All right, stick around, have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and enjoy good football with the Sports Gang shortly.